Hello everybody, this is another attempt to make you think. Think of a scenario. Suppose one helicopter is flying, maintaining certain height from the earth's surface. Inside the helicopter, a person is standing and dribbling a ball. Now, you are hanging outside the helicopter and peeping into a window. Through the window of the helicopter, you are looking the phenomenon. However, you are sticking to the helicopter only. Sounds risky? Don't worry, this is just a thought experiment, okay? And nothing is going to happen. So focus your gaze on the ball. You are hanging to the moving helicopter and through the window you are looking at the ball. And just observe how the motion of the ball looks like. Isn't it a straight line? The motion was in a straight line. It was just like this. It was coming down, going up, coming down, going up, coming down, going up, coming down, going up. So it was limited to one line only, right? Down and up. Now let us see the next scenario. Now imagine how the motion of the ball looks like. Isn't it going like this, coming like this, going like this, coming like this, going like this, coming like this, isn't it? So if we sketch it like last time we did, that will look somewhat like this, right? So within two parallel lines, it is bouncing. Yes? Is it understood clearly? Now imagine the scenario that you are very far from the earth. The observer is observing, the position of the observer is very far from the earth. Now the earth will look like a round shape, yes or no? It's global, it's spherical in shape, right? Now how whenever the flight is moving or the helicopter is moving, the bouncing of the ball is continuing. At the same time, the helicopter itself is moving. So how it can look like? It will happen the same way, but it will be curved in nature, right? If we'll show again how we showed, it will be somewhat like this. Clear? Now if you have understood already, you can forward the next explanation on the board. So friends, we have assumed the scenario like a helicopter, let us say, is flying. This is the earth's surface. The helicopter is flying and through the window, I am just showing the window because through the window we are looking at what is happening inside the helicopter. Let us say a person is standing there, okay, and he's dribbling a ball. Let me show in another color the motion of the ball. It's going down, okay, it is hitting the ground, it's bouncing up. So it's going down, hitting the ground, bouncing back. It hits the hand and comes down, goes. It's like this motion it is making. Now if what you are viewing here, if we'll write that thing, see, we are saying position and motion of the ball. Motion of the ball. Matlab means we will say what is the position here, and with respect to that what is the motion of the ball we are writing here. Okay? Clear? Now hanging to the window. Who is hanging? Whoever is looking, the observer, okay? Position of the observer, let us write. Position of the observer. So what's the position of the observer? Hanging to the window. Hanging to the window and looking up into it, of course. Hanging to the window and looking in. Then here how it looked, the motion I am showing, depicting in a diagram, it is like this, right? Now next scenario, you imagine that it is going like this. Now the same phenomenon is occurring, but the observer is you have moved from the flight or the helicopter. You have moved from it. So from certain distance you are looking at that. Now see, here there is something to understand. Let us say this point is A and this point where it hits is B, let us say. Now if you were at the window and looking at into, all the time it was hitting in the hand at A and it was hitting the ground at B. Ground means ground of the flight, whatever you may call it. So here at B, between AB only was the motion, right? The ball to come from A to B takes some time. Now imagine the scenario that this is moving, and since you are looking from a little far from the helicopter, you can mark the motion of the flight also. So it is dribbling, the ball is being dribbled, and at the same time the flight also is moving. At the same time the helicopter also is moving. That means there is a motion in this direction also, and simultaneously this kind of motion also is there. Now what happens, let us see. The time it requires to move from A to B, the time the ball requires to move from A to B, within that time this has shifted a little this side. Let us say this is the new position. I am showing the dotted lines. Now see, all this diagram I am not shifting. You think that in mind, I am only showing the motion of the ball. Okay, now A has shifted to this point, let us say A dash or A prime, and B has shifted to B prime. Okay, now A when goes to B, when the time taken by the ball to move from A to B, within that time the total vehicle, the total helicopter has shifted by certain distance. Now but the ball is still hitting the same point only, right? But the same point has come to B dash now, B prime now. So actually this hits this point, yes or no? So how the motion of the ball will look when you are looking from a little away? It is moving like this so that it can hit B dash, right? Now again when it reaches the hand, while reaching the hand it has still moved farther. Let us say it has moved till here now, and A dash has moved to this point, A double dash, let us say, and B dash has moved to B double dash, let us say. Now this A double dash means your hand has moved till here. Now after bouncing back it hits the hand. Now the hand has moved here. That means it will go like this. It will look like this. The same thing is happening. What is happening inside it, it's not changing. You please understand that depending on the position of the observer, how it looks, that is getting changed. So when you are just hanging on the helicopter and looking inside the window, you are seeing this. Now second scenario we are taking, looking far from the helicopter, let us. If you are looking far from this, how this will look? Like this, it went again like this, like this, like this, like this, it will look, right? So I am showing it a pictorially. This kind of a motion is observable. Now let us imagine a scenario that you have moved away so far that you are outside the earth. From outside the earth you are observing again the same phenomenon. Don't raise the practical issues that from so far how the ball will be visible and all those things. Imagine that you are having very sharp eyesight or something like that. From that much distance the ball, how the ball is moving, that is still visible. Let us imagine. Now if you go, see, as when you are near to the earth look flat. But when you will go very far away, how the earth will look like? Earth will look like this now. So the helicopter, whatever is flying, that will move like this now. See, this is the window of the helicopter which we were seeing, making zoom. But now you imagine that this helicopter will take the path like this, right? The helicopter will move like this, it will move, right? It will move like this, like this. So the same thing is happening now also, that a guy is standing inside that and dribbling the ball to the floor of that helicopter. So how that will look like? Now the third scenario is looking from outside of earth. Then see, it hits and goes, hits and goes, hits and goes, hits and goes. Don't you think that the motion of the ball will look somewhat like this? Comes like this, it goes like this, goes like this, comes and goes like this, right? So here what it looked between two straight lines only, here the same motion will be visible like this now. Did you understand? So Earth's surface will look like this. So it will be bouncing like that only. The thing is, please try to understand that all the time we are observing the same phenomena. The phenomena itself is not changing. But what is changing? The position of the observer, from where the observer is looking at the phenomena, that is changing. And depending on the position of the observer, how the motion of a ball looks, that also is changing. Clear? Till now, I can explain on a board. Now I am giving you to say something which you have to do. Totally you have to imagine. This is really called a thought experiment. Now see, suppose we are taking a position out of solar system. The observer is located out of the solar system, you imagine. See, till now it was the board is a two-dimensional figure, right? In two dimensions on a board it could be represented. Now you imagine what will happen. The earth, when you go from outside the solar system, simultaneously what you will look at, the earth itself is rotating about itself, and at the same time it's revolving around the sun, right? So what is happening here? Till here you are thinking that at least earth is stationary, right? Once the observer is from outside the solar system, the earth is no more stationary. It is rotating about itself, and at the same time it's revolving. Now all those motions of the earth, simultaneously the ball's motion will be changing. Now just imagine that you think that the earth is rotating like this, from that side to this side is coming. Then see, I am just telling you how it will look like. It will let us say after second it came a little like this, 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 like this. It will come like this, right, in 3D. And at the same time the earth is revolving around the sun. So you do it totally, it will be like this, but earth also is revolving along with that. Flight is along with that, the helicopter is moving, and inside the helicopter the ball is moving. So your focus, your vision is focused only on the motion of the ball. However, the ball's motion is not confined only to this much, what we said. At the same time, earth also is rotating about itself, and while rotating about itself, it also is revolving about the sun, right? Now one more step. If you have thought it, I know you require some time. Now this is a video, so you pause it if required and you think for some time. You imagine it, how it will be if the earth is also rotating about itself, and at the same time it's revolving around the sun, and on that one helicopter is moving, and inside that one person is standing dribbling a ball. Then how the motion of the ball will look like. Okay, now after stretching your imagination to this, now I am giving you another work. If the person is looking outside of Milky Way galaxy, I am writing it here, the observer is looking from outside of whole Milky Way galaxy. For those if you, I guess that you know this already, but if you not, I'm just saying it a little. Now the solar system, out of solar system, if you look how the motion of the ball will look like, you have imagined already. Now solar system are there, billions of solar systems are there. You can think this randomly billions of solar systems are there. In every solar system there are various suns and planets, etc. And on one particular planet, together, if we take those billions of solar system, you imagine that that is a Milky Way galaxy. Okay, and when you are looking outside from far from the Milky Way galaxy, for your information, the galaxy, the entire Milky Way galaxy is rotating about itself. Okay, so you have to imagine how many motions now. The entire Milky Way galaxy is rotating about itself, and inside the galaxy there is the solar system, and the solar system is revolving about the center of the Milky Way galaxy. The solar system is revolving. Now inside the solar system there is sun. Okay, and the sun is moving like that, and about the sun, earth is rotating about itself and simultaneously revolving around the sun. And when the earth is doing that rotation, on that one helicopter is going like this, and inside that one person is stood up and dribbling a ball, and from outside of the Milky Way galaxy you are observing the motion of the ball. Clear? Now you imagine, this is the fifth one, is a task or assignment for you. You have to imagine how the motion of the ball will be. The observer is looking from outside the Milky Way galaxy. Fine. You can stretch it still further if you find it easy to think. If you find it after some time also, if you can imagine, bring this into imagination, you can still think, if you are looking so far that the Milky Way galaxy also is rotating all together in the universe. So along with that, how the motion of the ball will look like, you can think. But while stretching your imagination to this extent also will be quite a task. Now it is time for activities. Activity 1. Imagine how the motion of the ball will look like if you observe it from outside the universe. If you observe it from outside of the universe, that universe in which millions of galaxies revolve around the center of it. Pause the video, contemplate on it, and when you are done, move to the next activity. In the second activity, whatever idea we have discussed just now, bring that idea to a psychological plane. What do I mean by that? If the motion of the ball is compared to a daily talking, and the different view angles to different interpretations of our talking, can we conclude that such different standpoints are at the root of all quarrels in the society? Think on these things. Pause and think on these things. Wish you all the best.